committee. You may not like. In fact, most people that hate the committee have never gone through the mock process, so you don't even know what these people do, right? So that's the first thing.
Right.
But I'm so sick and tired of media agendas. Media agendas. And so I heard it all day last night.
Yeah.
All day. So I started messing around with numbers. And so I took the committee's list. Right? There are 25 teams in this week's top 25. 4 teams fell out, which means in the last 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks, 29 different teams have been ranked. 29 different teams have been ranked by the committee.
Okay.
That's not a Mark Packer poll. That's not a Taylor Tannenbaum poll. That's not a Trey Boston poll. That's not Reese Davis or anybody else. That's the committee. The 29 teams in America that have been worthy to be ranked. No matter what the AP polls say. The AP polls are irrelevant. The committee is the most important thing. So I started messing around with numbers. All right, what's everybody's number?
Okay, what'd you
in terms
get?
of wins and losses against the committee's 29 best teams.
Who they thought have been worthy of a number next to their name.
Now, the committee watched the first 9 weeks of the season, and they compiled their own list. It had nothing to do with the AP poll. It's the committee that speaks. They're the most important thing. So here is the top 10, right? Georgia, you can go down those lists. Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU. They're all undefeated. They're 2-0, 1-0, 2-0, right? It's
okay.
29 best teams in America.
Right.
Tennessee's played a terrific schedule. They're 3-1. They're only stepping the toe this weekend against Georgia. Oregon's 1-1. LSU's 2-2. SC 1-1. Bama 1-2. Clemson. Clemson's 4-1. The reason I bring this up, Joel Klatt, and I've said this before, I think Joel Klatt is really smart. He is basically the face of college football and Fox Sports. Joel Klatt said the committee put Clemson out of their misery. Their resume is not very good. Clemson has fallen down a notch, but I can say the same I can't say the same for Bama, because Bama is going to be just fine. That's the way they got their way to get to the path of the playoff, yada, yada, yada. He said Clemson, even with a loss, with that resume, absolutely not. Now, again, I'm not going to sit here and go with the pom-poms, but the numbers are the numbers. If you want to sit there and say, I've got a narrative, I want to bury somebody, you have every right to do it. But when you get called out for being a fool, deal with it. Because here's what the numbers are. Now, Bama is 1-2 against the 29 best teams, according to the committee. Clemson is 4-1. Now, if you think Bama's got a better resume, that's up for you. I mean, that would be up to you to decide. Again, I don't think either Bama or Clemson today is a college football playoff team. My opinion. Now, here is the next list, 11 through 20. Here are numbers of note. I'll point out North Carolina. Is it 0-1? Penn State and North Carolina are the only 2 teams in the college football playoff rankings that have not beaten anyone that the committee has deemed as relevant. That's not a Mark Packer poll. That's not Chester and Fuller had treats to determine which team was going to win. That is the College Football Playoff Committee's list of the 29 teams. Here's 21 through 25. Florida State gets in. They're 1-3. The one being LSU. Right? And the 3 they lost right here in the ACC Atlantic Division. There's 4 other teams that got knocked out of the poll this past week. All right? We'll throw those 4 up there because that deems the 29 teams that I've seen a ranking. Wake and Syracuse, the ACC fall out, but they're 1-2 against those respective 29 teams. So my point is, I'm tired of the talking heads talking about stuff they, quite frankly, shouldn't even be running their mouths about. This all is going to take care of itself.